illiteracy to mean the inability to read, write, and comprehend. And statistics has really placed this to a percentage of over 50%. And in fact, you know, some information coming in really from the Ministry of Education, over 60% of our children not being able to really read is because of these barriers that are surrounding our children. So we need to work on an enabling environment during this very Rotary year, where our Rotary International President, Jennifer Jones, has challenged us that in all we do, we ensure there is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Basic Education and Literacy Enhancement Program provides a platform, indeed, through which we can do this. I have, over the couple of weeks, again, talked about, you know, some of the advantages of early childhood care and education. But today, I want to address myself to some critical components hinged to the financial implication of intervening in the early learning stages of our children. You'll definitely agree with me that this will in a way improve nutrition and health status. How does this come about? I did tell you that 90% of our brain drops when we are still in our wombs. So therefore, the way of life, the feeding habits of expecting mothers contributes into the health status of the brain and the body at large. So Basic Education and Literacy Enhancement Program seeks to it that we are able to sensitize our parents and our families so that they are ready by way of providing proper nutrition and health statuses to our early learners. And I said from the beginning, if you remember, that science has proven that children that have really gone through proper early childhood care and education, they have high chances of enrolling for school in time. They have high chances of completing school successfully. They have very low dropout rates, as you will see in the subsequent slide that I will share. But that is not just it. According to research of UNICEF of 2013, the ratio of investment, the return on investment into early, what you could call basic education and literacy, is 1 to 6. This is literally to mean that for every dollar you invest in pre-primary schooling, it pays back 60% in terms of higher income, productivity, and better health. But also, this is really attributed to an increase in female labor force participation. So colleagues, these are scientifically researched and proven concepts, not by me, but by actually authorities. Authorities very well read and vastly researched, like the Harvard University, which reviewed over 22 high quality studies spanning over 56 years. That is really dating from 1960 to 2016. And their findings were as below. That for children that have received quality early childhood care and education, number one, they have 8.1% lower placement in special education programs. Special education programs is really where we need special interventions to enhance learning for our children. But also they have 8.3 lower grade retention and repetition rates. We have a very high challenge of early school dropouts, owing to the fact that only 38% of our children that are enrolled in primary make it to P7, and only 27% make it to Senior 1. These actually are the very high dropout rates at infant and at basic level that we are seeking to address, that we are seeking to enable our learners at an early stage. But also 11.4% of higher high school graduation rates. And again, I said there is a financial return. You know, the CPS, Queen Esther's here, you call it return on investment. A study by the Nobel laureate economist James Heckman showed that early childhood or basic level programs yield $7.3 for every dollar that you spend. So friends, this is not a waste of money to really engage in basic education and literacy enhancement program. For every penny that we are spending, there is a return of $7.3 on that investment. And this is exactly what we are. This is the message. This is the gospel that we are talking about. This is what makes BELEP an enabler. This is what makes BELEP an equalizer. This is what makes BELEP a buffet for all of us to be able, because these concepts are vastly researched and scientifically proven. Now, colleagues, this morning I came to talk to Daybreakers. And allow me to talk to you, Daybreakers, first and foremost, as your immediate past president that qualifies me to be the club trainer by way of our club bylaws. But also, I'm here to talk to you as you did hear that I'm a community liaison officer for IREAD. And IREAD is our highest and priority and strategic partner. We at the Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak, for what we are really known for. It would never have ever been possible without the support and the partnership of the Institute for Education and Development. But also I request that you allow me to speak to you as a team leader of the Basic Education and Literacy Enhancement Program. First and foremost, allow me on behalf of the District Basic Education and Literacy Enhancement Program team, appreciate you for participating indeed in the DRD. I want to say thank you very much. But what are we known for at the Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak? We are known for our interventions, again, in partnership with IREAD, of the establishment of early childhood development centers to a tune of 16, well spread across the country. If you check on that map, well spread across the country. Look at it critically. And what does this present to us, friends? As we talk about, enabling a generation of learners after the DRD. This presents to us an opportunity of over 3,000 learners, early learners at a basic level. But it also presents us an opportunity of over 100 teachers. Not just that, an opportunity of over 10 partnering Rotary clubs, all with the support of the Institute for Education and Development. When you go back to where we started, where we are challenged with an environment of unready families, where we are challenged with an environment of unready schools that bring about unready children, that cause and present a barrier to the early learning, that explains the infancy rates that we get to exhibit by way of the many research papers, including one of our own Uganda Bureau of Statistics. So when you look at that map, members and fellow Daybreakers, we have what we call an amazing opportunity to enable a generation of early learners. And what is my call to service? What is my call? What is my, in his own wisdom, amazing District Governor, Honorable Kennedy Mike Sebalo, imagined Rotary being an amazing organization of amazing Rotarians, including amazing Daybreakers, doing amazing things across the 16 early childhood development centers that we are associated with, most of whom we have memorandums of understanding, to create amazing impact. So friends, how is this going to be possible? And I say this because I also know that not only is it at Daybreak, across the district, we have these opportunities to create, to enhance literacy by way of making reading a way of life. To empower teachers, I did mention this, enhancing literacy across the 3,000 readers within all the 16 early childhood development centers, empowering over 100 teachers. What an amazing opportunity that we have. But not only can we do this as Daybreakers, the opportunity that has been presented to us by way of over 10 Rotary clubs with whom we partner. I'm telling you, if we do these amazing things right, we'll be able to see tremendous increase into accessibility of basic education and literacy of our children at very infant levels. To be honest, we partnering with the, I don't know of any single entity in the entire country that has really contributed to establishment of over 16 early child development centers, other than IREAD and the Rotary Club of Kampala, including other partners. And this has happened over the years, dating as far back from 2010, when I reached 2013, sorry, when I reached Step Foot in Uganda, and to date. This means we have an experience, we have an exposure, you know, we have a story. We have really tested, and we can share in what works, what has worked for us, and we also know what may not yield results. Therefore, this calls us to the table of influencing policy in amazing ways, so much so that basic education will be able to be made a priority. And if this happens that way, we will have enabled a generation of learners in our country. So colleagues, let me bring the message home. The rule of thumbs across the Rotary clubs to enable a generation of learners after the Dear Day really calls that, number one, we do a needs assessment in all our partnering primary and basic education schools that we are really working with to be able to better understand the situations around these learning centers, so that we are able to really devise relevant and really practical interventions. But also, and I remember from our recent intervention, we said that this should happen by the end of this very month. And be on the look, our BELEP officer for this very club, and many BELEP officers, Rotary and Amanya Wilberforce, by the end of this week, which remains with 2 days, today, by the close of business tomorrow, we'll share in a tool that you can use to do a proper needs assessment in all our partnering schools. And after that, we want to be able to assess the situation of our teachers and our learners, to be able to really understand where they sit. And that way we'll be able to give relevant intervention again, and many other things. But I want to bring this back to the Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak. And I did request that you allow me to speak to you as your immediate past president, as your club trainer, but also as a charter member, but also as a community liaison director of IREAD, but also as the team leader for BELEP. I know that you have memorandums of understanding with many Rotary clubs, over 10. Would you engage with these clubs to rekindle their commitment on delivering on the roles of these MOUs? Because remember the analogy and the basic here was, we sit here in Kampala. It would be much more tasking for us to be able to know that how can we improve on the enrollment from, 30 or plus learners of our ECD in Chihihi, in Kanungu. It is going to be an uphill task, but it can be possible and made simpler through our engagement with the Rotary Club of Chihihi. But we've got to continuously engage with the Rotary Club of Chihihi, talk to the Rotary Club of Bukedia, talk to the Rotary Club of Igang, talk to the Rotary Club of many. And this really has presented us an opportunity to even cross beyond the district. We have an opportunity of enabling learners across the district. And this is an amazing opportunity, friends. Talk to the Rotary Club of Luka, talk to the Rotary Club of Masaka, talk to the Rotary Club of Ibanda. Many of these Rotary clubs. Talk to the Rotary Club of Mbale, talk to the Rotary Club of Arua Ekusite, to see to it that, our roles as enshrined in the MOUs that we have, first with our partner, strategic partner, IREAD, so that we are able to ensure that, yes, I can tell you, without us delivering on the roles as enshrined in all these MOUs, it is going to be very difficult for us to enable our learners. Number two, we need to really engage and do a proper needs assessment across all the early childhood development centers with whom we are working, so that we are able to devise relevant and right interventions. These early childhood development centers, by way of the Ministry of Education and Sports Policy, are supposed to be, supervised by community management committees, what we call CMCs, and school management committees for primary schools. It is true that in our country, I don't know, not only in our country, but it is human nature that people will most often do what is inspected, not what is expected. So our expectation of CMCs is different, but it will only come alive as much as we can inspect it. And our inspection mechanism is through the CMCs. My question and my challenge to the daybreakers and the rest of Rotary colleagues that are really engaging in this area: are the school management committees of these primary schools, are the center management committees of these early childhood development centers properly formed according to the guideline of the Ministry of Education and Sports? I can for sure, without any shadow of doubt, say no, not to all of them, at least from the list that I can tell. But also, for those that are formed the proper way, are they trained? Are they aware? Are they empowered? Are they equipped to deliver on their mandate? I don't think so. So this provides us an opportunity, fellow daybreakers, to be able to enable the next generation of early learners. We've got to do everything right by way of proper formation and proper training of the center management committees across all our early childhood development centers. I've talked about the rest. I don't have to do much by way of teachers assessment and learners assessment. These teachers assessment and learners assessment across all the schools that we are partnering with in the entire district 9213 should happen in the first week of August. And again, we will be able to share, by the end of this month, we'll share with you tools, but reach out to us on how best we'll be able to use these tools. There will be a training for all BELEP officers to really journey you through these tools so that you interface with them before you roll them out. And that will be able to know what training our teachers learn to be able to impart, to enable basic education and literacy, to enhance it in the lives of our learners. Definitely, we need to think about the learning environment. Daybreakers. What is the environment? What is the learning environment like across our early childhood development centers? Could there be early childhood development centers whose play equipment has been put in the store instead of being out, since the model is learned through play? Could it be possible? To some of you know that I'm actually speaking the truth and the reality on the ground in some of the early childhood development centers. Could it be to it that the gutters to correct and to harvest water to enhance sanitation across these early childhood development centers are actually, they need to be relooked at? Could it be that the glasses of these magnificent, look at how they look. Do they still look the same from when they were constructed and handed over to the communities? I really highly doubt. Can we do something to enhance this learning environment? I will never cease, to be honest. We need to there's a book of wisdom which says that we need to give credit to where credit is due. I think we need to, as a country, to be very honest, but better as a district, we need to give credit to the Institute of Rural Education and Development, a Canadian NGO, for really giving of these magnificent state-of-the-art early childhood development centers, 16 of these, and still counting, by the way, across Uganda, not only District 9213, across Uganda. Our role as Rotarians, and definitely we at the Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak, is to ensure that these state-of-the-art early learning centers remain in that condition. That way, they will be able to enable a generation of our early learners. I could go on and on when we talk about the washroom facilities. You know, friends, listen, these amazing facilities come with flush toilets. There's a saying, another saying from the book of wisdom: teach the child the way to go so that when they grow, they will not depart from it. The reason why these children are given flush toilets is we want them to learn to use these facilities at an infant age, so that when they grow, they will not in the offices, imagine offices, they will not stand on toilet seats as the case. And that way we are enabling a generation of our country. But also, Rotary International President Jennifer Jones challenged us to ensure there is diversity, equity, and inclusion across everything that we'll do. Think about one thing: are all these early childhood development centers inclusive? Even when I talk about the facilities, yes, are they inclusive? But not only that, are our teachers, have they been empowered to embrace inclusivity? Because yes, we have many children with special needs in our communities. So Daybreakers, these are the ways through which you could enable and engage through the 7x7 model. And I've actually already demystified this. Only to add that, can we think of, disease prevention and treatment initiatives in partnership with all these? If you talk about the 7x7 award, fellow Daybreakers, allow me to say that I will be totally surprised if we don't have an intervention, if we don't actually get this award, because we already have over 10 partnering Rotary clubs. All we need to do is to engage them in across these areas of focus. And I've over time talked about this. This is just a reminder, so I will not delve deeper on that. But do our early learners have readers? The platinum package of our local authors would be high recommendation that I'm sure that our ECD centers would actually benefit from. And I also know that more than 70% of these early childhood development centers are built nearby primary schools. So it would be good to also extend this enablement into the lives of children in lower primary and also children in pre-primary. And the platinum package is actually a good consideration and a very high recommendation. Look at how lovely those books look. I wish I could go back to that age to read them, but nevertheless, we can read them together and we can read them for our learners. But friends, teachers are never common people. Common people are never teachers. So we have seen magnificent state-of-the-art early child development centers. But colleagues, a building is one thing, but the most important thing is what goes on in the building. That is one of the most important things. And you know what? Teachers are the most significant people that are going to influence, that are going to enable the next generation of our learners. So we need to do everything right with our teachers. And again, I want to appreciate IREAD and Makerere University for again partnering with Rotary to ensure that they put up a state-of-the-art early childhood development teacher training center of excellence. This center of excellence will be complete by the time we finish this Rotary year. Our role is, when I talk about over the 100 teachers, what is their level? Colleagues, I was shocked when we do an audit across our early learning centers. Those of you that went with me to Iganga the other week, you know what we really witnessed. I think it is time we get to ensure that the teachers with whom we have entrusted the basic and the early learning areas for enablement are actually the right teachers. And we have a platform given to us by IREAD and Makerere University. Thank you very much. It will cost us a hell of money to do this. But you know what? I like this amazing Rotary because of the amazing opportunities that are available at us as a district. Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak, we have an amazing opportunity to be the primary contact of this district global grant. What an amazing trust this is. What an amazing opportunity to enable the generation of learners at an infant, at a basic level. So ours is really to actually commit. And thank you, amazing president and the board of the Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak for already committing $10,000 to this global grant as a bare minimum. But I know that we also have a target of $10,000 in our TRF. You know what? This actually makes our contribution to $20,000, because I would like to implore you that, you know what, the target we have put for TRF, we will get the TRF recognitions anyway. So we can amalgamate the target of our TRF to be 20,000 and commit and tag this TRF contribution to the global grant, for which we have already secured a global grant number. All we need to do is tag this money to this global grant. And I would like to say that this money should come in by the end of September, because that is when we are closing, because we want to ensure that we enable you through the reading tests, through the essay writing things, through the teacher retooling, through community mobilization and sensitization, through infrastructure enhancements, through donations of primers that I've been talking about, but also through economically empowering our parents. We already have a success story of the intervention of Irate, Humphrey, and us in Arua. You know, and I share about this story everywhere I go. What is this story like? You know, basic education, much as it has a 60% guaranteed, not promise, guaranteed return on investment, scientifically proven according to the research of Harvard and UNICEF, actually, and these are reputable and renowned international bodies. So, but still, some of our parents struggle to raise these resources. Something like 30,000, and especially the times we're in are not any better, and you'll agree with me, you know? So, 30,000, you know, school fees across our ECDs ranges from 30 to 150,000. But this is a challenge to most of our rural parents. But this is the story, colleagues, daybreakers that have just joined, but also the Rotary Fraternity and the Friends of Daybreak this morning. This is the story that we had in Arua, where we have 4, where Irate put up, Irate and the local communities with the engagement of many interventions. We are able to put up 4 early childhood development centers. But look, because many of our parents are farmers, we realize that they are struggling. They used to grow maize in Arua. And because they have small land, only 100 kilos can they harvest in 3 months. A kilo of maize is 800 shillings. So they are earning as a family in 3 months is 80,000. So if you earn 80,000 as a family, it is not easy to take off 50,000 and pay school fees for an early childhood development or for basic primary. It's not easy, a decision to make. In fact, I would struggle with it as well. And I know many of us would. So we really engaged with Humphrey. Humphrey is one of the biggest organic farmers in Eastern Central Africa. And we realized that chia seed can grow better in Arua. So we engaged with the farmers, guaranteed them market of chia seed at 3,000. Taking the same time, the same piece of land, farmers were able now to grow 100 kilos of chia that would fetch them 300,000 as opposed to 80,000. Now we can talk about enablement. And in a very few years, they were able to put together resources to a tune of 51.9 million Ugandan shillings. Amazing. Now, fellow daybreakers, when we talk about community economic empowerment through microcredit scheme, and again yesterday in this very morning, we had the success story of the Rotary Club of Maisha in Intenjeru project in Mukono, the same methodology that is yielding tremendous and amazing results. Can we copy this that has worked? And again, our district governor, amazing district governor, Mike Kennedy Sebari, has really implored us to copy what has worked, not only in our club, not only in other environment, and copy it shamelessly and apply it. So can we take this model to the east? Can we take this model to the west? Because equally, our parents are struggling.
Mr. Beleb, you have 1 minute.
Okay.
This is only possible if we can be able to critically examine and strengthen the amazing and enabling partnerships that are well displayed there on the screen. Mr. President and fellow daybreakers and all Rotarians on this call, thank you for giving me the audience. to speak to you about how we can enable a generation of our early learners. Mr. President, I beg to submit.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that amazing presentation, filled with passion and filled with a lot of energy. Daybreakers and fellow Rotarians, I think our work is clearly cut out. We just have to get started and get working. At this juncture, I'd like to request amazing CEO, Patience, to take us through the interaction. Over to you, Rotarian Patience.
Good morning, AP. Thank you. Friends, can we have an interaction with Mr. Belep? Feel free to raise your hand. Feel free to post in the chat, and we'll have a 5-minute interaction with the speaker this morning. Anyone? President, as other members post, recall in one of our interactions, we talked about having a library set up at all these ECD schools or any primary school that is on Church of Uganda land. I don't know where that thought disappeared to. Is it still in a pipeline? Do we still have that on our program? Thank you. Members, please raise your hands and have an interaction with the president.
Maybe I could respond to that real quickly as you await for other questions.
Thank you.
At Basic Education and Literacy Enhancement Secretariat, we have a team leader in charge of community libraries. And we do not have to reinvent our wheel, colleagues. But also, while it is a good thing, but I know that together with the Uganda Community Libraries Association, there are over 139 community libraries well spread across the country. And the idea is to tag all the Rotary clubs across the district to these community libraries. And the members of Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak, we could tag along these community libraries that are nearby our learning centers. This provides us an opportunity because one, there is a facility, but also we can work with the community. We can work with the community. We can also ensure there is continuous reading and learning, even when children are at home, which is very, very, very central. It's important. And it is actually one of our core objectives, enhancing literacy of our early learners, both at home and at school. So the approach here, Mr. President, I am glad and happy to share with you as early as by close of this week, but also we will be sharing these lists once we have concretized the methodology with the Uganda Community Library Association of Uganda. I don't know whether amazing President Flavia from the Rotary Club of Chanja Metro is on this call. If you are, I could give you 30 seconds to please clarify this particular subject. Flavia, could you be with us today? I don't seem to see.
Mr. Belep, Flavia is not with us today.
Okay, but
okay,
that is the
okay, thank you, President, for that response. I don't see any hands. I don't see any chat posts. I will take this back to the President. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for leading us through the interaction session. Colleagues, it's pretty clear what we need to do in order to succeed in enabling the next generation of learners. A number of areas have been identified: enhancing, retraining teachers. Yes, I can see Rotarian Warakira, your hand is up. You can interject.
Yeah, thank you, President. Sorry for interrupting. I want to appreciate my friend, Frederick, for the work doing. And I can say if I grow up, I want to be like you. But with our program, BELEP, it is so enthusiastic and very well put. But you may recall a few months ago, there are some viral videos which went viral on the social media. Some were obviously caught by someone outside, but others were obviously captured by the students themselves. You can know what they were doing. There comes my comment or my fear. With this discipline going on in schools, and our interactors and our programs are in schools, and they are part of this. Don't you think we should have a program about the discipline of students? Either we start with the teachers, if you cannot go it direct. That is my reaction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rotarian Warakira. I know the intersection was already closed. However, you had something hot. Mr. Bellew, could you quickly respond to that?
Rotarian Warakira, I don't know how well you have interacted with our learning framework right away from baby class, middle class, top class, and also the teachers' teaching framework. But more than that, before I even get to the teachers, where do these children learn these manners from? It's not only at school. In fact, some of them start at home. So parents, all of us are parents in different capacities. Let us instill manners into the lives of these children at basic level. Because remember, teach a child the way and the right way to go, so that when they grow, they will not depart from it. But also, we need to live, we need to model what we say. We don't want to say something else and do the other before our children. Our children, especially children of these days, hey, they really, really get these concepts very fast. So that is the quick response I can give, that we have an opportunity to shape our future. But as parents, let's do our part. But also, our learning framework has really addressed this. We only need to empower, retool our teachers to go by this framework. This will also be addressed. Thank you, Chairman. I beg to, Chairperson and President, I beg to submit.
Thank you, Chair Bellew, for such an elaborate response. I think at this juncture, I would like to call upon Membership Co-Director, Yerusa, to give a vote of thanks. Yerusa, the floor is yours.
Yes, AP, thank you so much for the opportunity. Sorry about that. For those who are still in the field of procreation, we have heard the gospel. BELEP starts right from the womb. So let's preach that gospel as far as we can. And for the wonderful presentation, we have been blessed. Thank you so much, Changemaker President, Rotarian Frederick Takule. We are grateful for you sharing your information with us. And I'm sure we have picked a leaf and we will continue preaching the gospel. Any contribution that we can, and we're urging fellow Rotarians, let's put the message across so that even those who may not, know what it takes to have a good beginning for the child. Let's give them as much as we can so that our future generation will be better. Thank you so much, Rotarian Frederick Takule. Over to you, amazing President.
Thank you, Rotarian Rosa. Indeed, thank you, IPP Frederick, for carrying the daybreak flag high as you promote early childhood development.
Most welcome, amazing President. And Daybreakers, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Rotarian Works, are you there?
Yes, President, I'm available.
Lead
I'll
us
take you through the statistics.
Yes.
I'll start with the quote by Oprah Winfrey. The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. This is what Mr. Belep has told us to adhere to. So, President, we had 105 participants, 33 Rotary clubs, and 2 Rotaract clubs. I'll go straight to the Rotary clubs present, starting with Kampala Morning Stars, Saturday E-Jazz, and Ntinda, Weyoget Nambole,
I have some lemon water.
Kampala Metropolitan, Sunrise, E-Club Ntinda, Kampala Mpala, Bwebaja, Rubaga Lakeview, Natete, Namasuba, E-Club of Uganda Global, Kampala South, Kasanga Tinsanji, Kampala Springs, Kiwatule, Kampala Sese Islands, Bukoto, Kampala Alibad, Muyenga, Nansana, Weyogere Central, Kampala Kibuli, Port Bell, Munyonyo, Sonde, Ntinda, Kampala Muyenga Breeze, Maisha, Fort Poto, and Bujiri. The club of the day was Weyogere Nambole on account of numbers. And the Rotary clubs present were Ruvaga and Makindye. Chair, I submit. President, I submit.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We take note that RC Ntinda Metro was also present. And thank you, fellow Rotarian, for participating in today's meeting. At this juncture, I'd like to request Rotarian Dora to give us the final toast. Thank you.
President, I don't know who Rotarian Dora is. Can I take it up?
Please take it up.
Okay, for an engaging session we've had with Mr. Belep, may we toast to Rotary International.
Rotary world over.
Rotary world over. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Rotary world over.
And thank you very much for your time this morning. Mr. Belep, I don't know if you're still around. We could have maybe some Rotarians and guests who would have some more questions or comments for you to clarify.
At your service, amazing President.
All right. So I request those who are available and they are still can put in maybe an extra 10 minutes. We can request Mr. Belep to give us at least 10 more minutes to respond to some of the queries you might have. Thank you. The floor is open. It is Chimeza. OP Elizabeth, please shoot. Your hand is up.
Thank you very much, amazing President. I want to thank Changemaker President, Rotarian Frederick, for that wonderful talk. I don't know whether we can share the slides, please. I would want to share that with somebody who is not online. Thank you.
Banage Rotarian, thank you so much for coming. Thank you. May the good Lord bless you. Continue joining us for fellowship. Bye. God bless you.
President, I would like to
the slides will be shared.
I would like to appreciate the way your team is supporting each other when somebody is not online. Somebody is very fast to chip in. That is a very, very good way of supporting each other. Kindly keep it up.
Thank you for appreciating our elder Rotarian David Semakula. We appreciate that recognition. Members of Daybreak, please keep it up.
President, how can we share the presentation today? Is it on YouTube?
The presentation is on YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
I can share the link. Let me just get the link right now. The YouTube link.
Can I give you my WhatsApp number?
Yes, but I'm also putting it in the message, in the chat box right now.
Okay, thank you.
Right. That is the link. The